I'd taken myself off to Ruapehu. I wasn't about to have my first outing on the snow in front of New Zealand's elite. Actually, I skied as a kid. That's me. At Ruapehu, I was put in the safe hands of Travis Beale. He's the whakapapa adaptive coordinator.
You know, when you're hunched over too much, you're relying entirely upon muscles, which, you know, may or may not be up to the task.
Right.
So try to keep that, when we talk about snowboarding and skiing, we always talk about having our shoulders referenced over our hips and our knees and our feet. The most important thing to remember when you are falling is to keep your elbow and shoulder out of the way. Obviously, if you're in a wheelchair, then breaking your shoulder can be a pretty significant bummer. So we want to keep them free and clear. Basically, the goal is just to try to get your arm and shoulder out of the way and let the bucket take the fall. There we go, looking left.
It's getting a feel for it, and the big thing is try to stay flat on the ski rather than carve it, and just use the shoulders and the body to move and to turn. So yeah, it's a good little introduction so far.
Feeling steady?
I wouldn't say feeling steady, but enjoying it. You know, it's cool. The big thing I'm realising already is, like, just without the trunk function, it's hard to realise when I'm starting to carve and when the ski's flat. It's pretty tough, and I hate to be limited by my disability, but without the trunk function, it sounds like the bi-ski is the way to go.
So meeting up with Travis this time at Cardrona, I opted to try the bi-ski.
What we want to know about the bi-ski is that it's got two skis and some articulated linkage underneath, so it is able to carve turns phenomenally well.
Okay, the bi-ski is nice and stable. You know, I can sit here pretty well without the outriggers, but just need that bit of help. Can't quite stop on a dime like you would with mono ski.
All right, you ready?
Yep, we're looking. Easy on down. I grew up skiing and it was such a great time of my life. And of course now it is harder, but you know, you just got to suck it up and get back into it because there is no other option. It's just a brilliant feeling, and it's pretty easy to pick up as well. It's not too hard, you know. By the end of the run, Travis just had the rope slack and I was, you know, making those turns. Sweet! And it's feeling more and more natural all the time, and it's just getting better and better. The bummer with the bi-ski is I do need a bit of help to get around, get to the chairlift. I've seen the guys on the mono ski just pushing themselves up and they're away, you know, no worries. So it's something to progress to, a bit of a target, a bit of a challenge. So yeah, plenty to work on here.
Snow sports are really one of the greatest things that open up doors for disabled folks, in my opinion, because, as I say all the time, gravity doesn't discriminate. So everybody's going downhill, and once you acquire the skills to be able to do it, you can go, you know, beat two-leggers left, right, and center. So it's pretty rewarding, and, you know, remember there's lots of different folks out there on the hill.
Because of the way that I walk, it causes a lot more strain and pressure on my knees. I mean, you've watched me walk, it looks like my legs are going to snap. You know, when I'm skiing, I'm in a fixed position. If I could ski 24/7, it would be more healthy than me walking.
In fact, he almost does. Skiing virtually every day the mountain is open. And it pays off. As predicted, Adam was the man of the moment when it came to the National Alpine Skiing titles. The highlight of the week was the Snowboarding World Championship. Riders were timed over 3 runs of the border cross course. The weather was fine, but windy.
Not the easiest conditions today. There's actually quite a bit of sunshine, but there's an awful lot of wind.
You're board. Nice catch.
Yeah, it's kind of windy up here, for example. So it's definitely going to make the competition a bit interesting. It's going to be really hard to be able to see in front of you well when some of these gusts come up. Going to blow a lot of snow around, and it's going to make it awfully loud, which is a bit of a distraction. So, but you know, we're here, made it all the way to New Zealand, so we're racing today. Doesn't matter what happens.
Dangerous?
What's that?
Dangerous?
You know, I reckon that these guys are already pushing the envelope enough that a little bit of wind is really not going to push us over the top. So.
We just did our first slip through. We're going to go for another run through, get our line completely dialed, and then we're taking it home for Team USA.
It is pretty awesome. We've got 6 different countries represented and athletes from 3 different continents that have taken the very long flight to New Zealand to be able to attend. So it's pretty cool.
You want to chase me and have a look at my line and stuff? I want a bad tip. More than words can describe. I mean, I'd be world number 1. Yeah.
The irrepressible Daniel Sharp is there as well.
The game plan's to just take it conservative the first couple of runs because it's best out of 3, and then go for it on the last run and see what we get. Yesterday, conditions were quite bad in the morning, and I closed my eyes for a point, and it was no different with my eyes closed than with my eyes open as far as trying to see the snow. I was purely just having to feel it.
There's our American friend Nicole, showing good form. After the 3 runs, Carl Murphy had a time of 78.25. Not enough to beat Canadian Tyler Mosh's time of 75.99, crowning him world champ.
Representing Canada, Tyler Mosh!
Carl's ranking, world number 2. Winner of the women's border cross was Bibian Mentel from the Netherlands, with American Nicole Roundy taking the silver.
Oh yeah, everyone back at the office. Might not be there on Monday.
The Winter Games happening in Queenstown are next up. This program is dedicated to the memory of Gillian Hall, who was instrumental in launching skiing for disabled New Zealanders.